If he punches, just keep your hands high. They're telling him not to counterpunch. Boom!
Yup, you know what this time it is, man. This is your favorite channel, man. This is CTB. This is Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say what up to him, man.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in.
Most definitely. If you don't know by now, you are tuning into a show we call here Chin Check. This is where we check you guys' chin with boxing news, boxing rumors, upcoming fights, and sometimes we put some money in your pocket by giving you the odds of the fight, man. So with that being said, what is on the menu for today for the Chin Check?
Is PBC afraid to put Earl Spence in the ring with Terrence Crawford?
That is a good ass question, man. Let's top it up. Let's talk about it. Yeah, man, because recently, man, it seems that PBC has been trying to do what you predicted a long time ago, man. My boy mine predicted a couple months ago. I believe it was right after the Keith Thurman Barrios fight. I think you said that PBC would much rather have Keith Thurman come back and fight Earl Spence than allowing them to fight for Undisputed with Terrence Crawford. And it seems like your prediction is coming to pass, man. It seems like the PBC is doing exactly what you said after that fight with Barrios. So what's your reaction first, man? You seem like you a psychic or something. Like you Miss Cleo's brother or something with that prediction, man. So how do you come up with that prediction? And how do you feel about being right about your prediction?
I feel like if you look at it from a business standpoint, you kind of can figure things out. So when I think about things, especially in the business of boxing, I think about if I was PBC, what would I do? What would be the most lucrative move? What would be the smartest move as far as business decisions? Now, for us boxing fans, the best move would be Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence for Undisputed. No question about it. But for PBC, a promotional banner and a company, and also a rumored company that's starting to go through a little financial trouble, and they cannot risk at this stage their main cash cow going down after Wilder just lost to Tyson Fury. He's their biggest fighter. So, of course, they're going to try to stretch out with Terrence Crawford. And I'm not blaming PBC. I understand the business because everybody's doing this. Canelo, he was the golden boy. They avoided certain fighters. Even now, he's avoiding. He's not going to fight David Benavidez, and he's probably not going to fight Jermell Charlo until he really has to fight him. Same thing with Lomachenko. When Lomachenko was the top guy and Devin Haney was calling him out for Undisputed, he ran around and made every excuse for not to fight Devin Haney, but then he ended up fighting Lopez because Lopez was on the same promotional banner, and no matter who wins, Top Rank and Bob Arum wins. The same thing with PBC. Don't matter who wins between Keith Thurman and Earl Spence, the belts and the money stays with PBC. The thing with Terrence Crawford, he's a threat. They know that fight is a toss-up 50-50 fight, and that if he gets in the ring with Earl Spence and he wins, he gets to take 4 belts from 147. He takes as being the man in the division, and he becomes a more lucrative and more popular fighter and takes a lot of popularity from Earl Spence. Even though I think Earl Spence is still going to be, a pay-per-view guy, but it makes, Terrence Crawford the man. So for PBC, they feel like, why should we give him that opportunity for him to come and cash out and move and go and make his own moves without us getting him locked into a 2 or 3 fight deal? So I get where they coming from. It's just the nasty politics of boxing working again. So I'm still feeling good about this fight because Errol Spence is saying all the right things. He's pretty much made it known. I want Terrence Crawford next. He's saying it without being disrespectful to Ugas because he realized he got to beat Ugas. But if you read between the lines, Spence is saying that's the fight he wants, even though PBC is doing a little pushback.
I'm gonna say something, man. I really think it's not just that they're afraid of them fighting each other like Terrence Crawford fighting Earl. I think it has a lot to do with Earl's accident. I think they're really, really nervous, and they want Earl to get as much work in before he has a Terrence Crawford fight, especially coming off a knockout of Sean Porter. I think that Sean Porter fight opened a lot of people at PBC's eyes on exactly how strong Terrence Crawford is and how well he punches. Because, like I said, he's moving up from smaller weight, and nobody really took him serious because of his resume. But when he dispatched Sean Porter the way he did, I think a lot of people at PBC, I ain't gonna say they got nervous, but they opened their eyes to the possibility of Earl possibly not being ready for that fight yet. Coming, like you said in our previous video, him only having 1 fight in the last 3 years. So, in my opinion, it may have something to do with that. They might want to give Earl as much work as possible before he gets in the ring with Terrence Crawford. They know that Terrence Crawford is a bigger threat than Ugas, and he's also a bigger threat than Keith Thurman. And like you said earlier about Keith Thurman, it's a win-win for them because let's just say Earl does lose to Keith Thurman. Then they didn't lose any money on the deal because their fighter still has the opportunity to unify with Terrence Crawford. So they rather have as much wiggle room, in my opinion, to see exactly how good Errol Spence is coming off of that surgery with his eye, just to make sure all their I's are dotted and all their T's is crossed. Because I think they really think they need more time. I really think that they feel that Ugas is not a proper test to gauge how well he's ready for a puncher like Terrence Crawford. I think a puncher like Keith Thurman probably would be a better gauge on how well he would compete with Errol Spence, with Terrence Crawford, in my opinion. Not to mention he's a mover also. Keith Thurman has decent footwork. He moves around the ring a lot, and Crawford can do that if he chose to. While Ugas is more of a straight in your face type fighter who's going to be able to counterpunch you and jab with you. I think the style difference is too big right now for them to be really, really confident in that fight, in my honest opinion. Real quick, what you think about that? You think I'm close to it, or you think I'm on the cold in that?
I think we both hit it on the head. You pretty much broke down the reason why PBC is scared of the fight from the ring as far as boxing, and I broke it down on the business side. But I think both of them go hand in hand because, like you said, as far as in the ring, you're not going to find anybody exactly like Terrence Crawford, but you can find somebody who has some of the same attributes as Terrence Crawford. Like you said, Keith Thurman is a mover. He punches harder than Ugas. He'll test Earl Spence's chin. He'll move. He'll give him different looks. So we can say all we want to say about Keith Thurman, but he's a very smart, high IQ fighter. So he would give Spence a little bit what he'll get from Terrence Crawford. And also, like I said, as far as the business side, you know, like you said, them two fighting, you can't lose. When you get two guys on the same promotional banner that's fighting against each other, you get an extra fight, an extra pay-per-view fight. You get to keep those 3 belts on your side, and you get to find out is, like you said, is Earl Spence really ready for Terrence Crawford? That's why I'm so excited about this Ugas fight, because I'm not only watching it to see, you know, who's going to win, because I do believe Earl Spence is going to win the fight, but I want to see how good he's going to look, because even though I'm more of an Earl Spence fan than you are, and you're more of a Terrence Crawford fan, I have to call it down the middle of who I think gonna win that fight when it comes up. And this Ugas fight is probably gonna decide on who I think is gonna win that fight. You know, depending on how Earl Spence look in this upcoming fight on Saturday night.
Well, definitely, I agree with you. The same thing with me in the Sean Porter fight. If Terrence Crawford went in there and didn't look as effective against Sean Porter, then of course, me being a Terrence Crawford fan, but I still would have to call it down the middle. I would have said if you struggle with Sean Porter, then there's no way in hell you beat Earl. So, like you said in the previous video before also, if he struggles with Ugas, there's no way he's beating Terrence Crawford. Oh, you got anything else to add to this topic, man?
I think we covered it all.
Most definitely. This was a good show, man. I can't wait to post this one. With that being said, man, this is your favorite channel, man, CTB. Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy, Jay Slay. Say peace to him, man.
All right, everybody. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment, tell your brother, mother, sister, cousin, pastor, enemies, next door neighbor, tell your sister, anybody about it, your co-workers. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, God, peace, and love, and we out of here.
Peace.
Good luck.